You're gonna think I'm really nuts now. I can't help myself. I get a little bit of money and I go nuts. Look at this project. This is what I've been looking for years and years, for just the right price I can afford it. Here it is. $1985 of the Evolution engine, dual primary or dual belt drive. So should be belt drive inside there, unless somebody's converted it. But it's pretty much stock. That's a stock color, paint job, pinstriping, but somebody's airbrushed in a Indian or native head in on either side. The seat stock. Those running boards aren't stock, nor the front pegs, which I don't like. Handlebars are stock. Brakes are all stock. Somebody made a little bracket in here. I'll be getting rid of that. I actually want to put some 5-gallon tanks on it, but right now it's just all stock. I'll get it running. Hasn't run in 2 years again. Just like everything else around here, hasn't run in a couple of years. It's got an S&S carb on it, breather. $3,500 Canadian in Windsor, Ontario. And I got a whole bunch of spare engine parts too. Actually, I'm going to go back and buy the rest of the engine off him. Jack, I believe, and give me a whole bunch of parts. And he got it on a job that he was doing for payment. So yeah, that's going to be a nice little project there. Always wanted one, finally got one. There we go. Well, I had a police special, like I say, back in the 80s, but I've been kind of looking ever since. These Evolution engines, the first generations, you can put 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 kilometers on them. You might get a gasket leak in the back cylinder, but it looks like this one's pretty much all original. Can't really tell how many kilometers on it, but I think they're supposed to be around 25 to 30,000 kilometers, something like that. Yeah, there's my next project among all these ones. Gonna crank it over, make sure it turns over. Turns over good, I'll do a compression check. See if my battery's any good here. Oh, I got it on the charger. Took the spark plugs out. Let's see if we got spark at the same time. That might not be enough voltage for spark. Oh, there's spark. And there's compression. Not enough voltage in this battery yet. Let her charge up. Well, that's a good sign. Don't worry. It's okay. Don't worry. Dust in you. to see so much glare. Oh, there you go. You can see that better there. Probably just put some fiberglass tape over the epoxy here. Not too worried about getting it all in one shot the first time. I can come back. Okay. I always keep these spray can lids, if they got a flat bottom in them, they're handy as could be. And good for the spray foam ones. Like that. That should be pretty damn good. I think just like that. Can always grind a little bit of that off if it's too much there. That's pretty good right there. I don't have much of this epoxy left, probably just enough to do this. Supposed to have the gun, but Peter's got the gun. I don't think I have it here. No, I've got two guns, but I should have heated this up. It comes out a lot easier when it's heated up. Oh, you mother. My little pick here. What the hell? Try this one here. Oh, it hardened up a little bit there. You're not getting out, Rerun. You stay there. Okay. Come on. I should have got Peter's gun. Oh my God. Should almost cut that right off. Wish I had something I could press on over top of that. Like something I could sit over top of that with a hole in it. This is the other part of the seat pan. There we go. Lots. Now I'll get some hardener in there. I think that's enough. I think it needs a little bit more hardener in there. Maybe not. Trying to keep it even each time I. Oh, it smells pretty strong. I think this is 90-minute cure time, but you let it sit overnight. Yeah, 90-minute. Structural adhesive. Always keep these old plastic cards. Too worried about all the holes. I just re-drill them all out. Like I say, I can. I'm probably going to have to do another coat. I don't want to coat it all. I might have to do another layer. Okay, now fuck. Sticky stuff on there. The tape will peel off this stuff. You can put this tape on to hold it together, and it will actually peel off. What I like to do put some clamps on it. Where are they? I gotta find some more of those clamps. There, got it all clamped down. Let that harden up and dry. And then I got a little patch over here, and then when I flip it over I can fill all the cracks and holes on the other side, but this will really beef it up and strengthen it. And yeah, that's it for tonight. It's probably 10 o'clock. Good night. He probably pissed in here somewhere. Find it tomorrow, or pooped. Say goodnight, little dog. Say goodnight. Here's the old rusty seat brackets. You can see somebody's drilled a hole through there. Offset. I'm making them out of a, it's not 1/4 inch, 3/16 probably, plate, and I'll drill it and just thread these plates. Also making these short, which I need 2 of these short ones. I got one made, I just marked the other one. Okay. I'll just mark them, drill them, and I'll sandblast them, paint them black so they don't rust again, grease them up. I'm wearing my great big thick wool socks with my sandals because I'm just out in the garage for a minute while I'm barbecuing a pizza. Yeah. Got the barbecue going here. having beer and barbecuing a pizza, quick supper. I was working on my son's girlfriend's house all last week, trying to get it ready for the market. My son owns a house, his girlfriend owns a house, and they're selling the two houses and they're buying one newer, bigger house. And so I worked on her house all last week, got it ready, sold that one. And now I'm just doing my son's house. So I know I'm going to be here for maybe 2 weeks fixing his house up. But we got lots of time. And it's just taken away all my time to get these bikes done. Like my Norton, I just have to wire that Norton. The tank, side covers, everything's done. Finished up the wiring. The new kickstarter came in, put that on. Put the fluids back in it. The one night I could have that ready. So if I get one night off this week, I'm going to try to get that finished. But in the meantime, I'm just puttering, doing little jobs like the seat pan here for the Harley. This was all broken out here. Oh, put the camera down. Some light. Yeah, this was all, piece was all broken out into here. You can see it on the back. It was broken out from here down to here, crack in here. So I panel bonded epoxy, some aluminum on there. Now I just got to drill the holes out for those plates that I'm making. And then they were riveted in before. I could rivet it in. I might just need some longer rivets to go through that plate. And then I can put this seat back on. It was just hanging on there by one bolt, like the seat was just flopping all over and it's just causing damage, so I really wanted to get that fixed. Okay, let me go check my pizza. Got these plates mounted, got them all drilled out, chamfered them on the inside so that it's easy to start the screws. So there it is there, and there. Got some new bolts. Supposed to be easy to start. There we go. And, yeah, so now I can put the plates on. So, let's figure out how this goes. How this little hump goes in there. They all seem to line up perfect. And this is going to go there. Like that. I think that's it. Just got to find some washers. I'm not putting lock washers on them. Yeah, I think to staple it back on, I should have this piece off. So, yeah, I'll just put these in a loose for now. I'll just put it back together loose for now. I still got to paint this side. I'm going to paint those brackets there. Adds a little bit more weight to it. Yeah, we'll clean this up and paint this. Doing 10 10 things at once here. Just made this bracket for my son there for his hand railing. Gotta get his house sold. Should paint this stuff. Oh, this fucking side's broken too. Fix that side. Now this side's got a break in there. This is really thin here at the end. I don't think it does anything, but it's really thin. I should put a piece of carbon fiber right there. This side's really thin too. You know what? I got some carbon fiber somewhere. One of these drawers. Another drawer. I know I got some carbon fiber. That's a thick piece, but I know I've got a thinner stuff too. There's a thin piece right there. I don't really want to put metal there because, well, I don't know if the staples will go through it, but I don't know if the staples will go through carbon fiber, for that matter. But that would really beef that up right there. Yeah, I don't know if the staples even penetrate that. I guess I should try it first. My buddy's got his upholstery, a power upholstery stapler. I'll try it first to see if I can put a staple through that. Maybe I can't. Otherwise, I have to use some kind of hard plastic in there. Just to put a piece here. Maybe it will penetrate the aluminum. Yeah, it should penetrate the aluminum. Aluminum's softer than this, so. Yeah, I think I'll make another piece to here to glue on, another piece at the other end. I'll make a couple more pieces to glue on. Because I just carbon fibered this, or epoxy this side. It's nice and firm. Now this side's all fucked up. Keep working at it. This is 1985. My ownership says FXS. So I know there was an FXRS. I don't know if the Canadian model is an FXS or when the ownership is typed wrong. I don't know. But I'm a little mixed up. It's after 34 years ago since I worked on these at the Harley shop. And I know when the Evolution first came out, there was a half year, whether it was 83.5 or 84.5 was the first year. But I remember the early models that year were the shovel heads, and halfway through the year they went to the Evolution. But when I try to Google it, all this information, I can't find it. It's just saying 1984 was the first year of the Evolution. So maybe it was the early 84s were shovel head and the later ones were Evolution. I can't remember, but I know there was a half year in there. There's guys driving bikes with 1984 with shovel heads. And I know in the early 80s, 82, 83, I'm not sure prior to that, they went to a double belt drive, a belt drive primary and a belt drive secondary. I thought the first year Evolutions was a double belt drive. There was a lot of issues with that belt drive. It was really hard to get the alignment with the clutch and the drive and the belt and the rear. It was really hard to get that aligned, and I remember the service bulletin said to take off your inner primary and grind out the holes a little bit bigger so you could shift the transmission, move the transmission a little bit more to get the alignment better. And a lot of guys were burning up the belts, and I think they went away with it and went back to the sprocket and the primary being a chain driven and not belt driven. I'm not sure what this one is now. I'm mixed up. I thought this was a belt drive, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's chain drive. I don't know. I'm not finding the right stuff on the internet. There's not a lot of stuff out there that I'm finding, unless you go to forums, I guess. But let's see. This is kind of unusual for this bike too on the FX. It has this is where the shifter should be right here, and then they put a forward kit on which goes up here. So I want to put it back. I don't like my feet being up front. If you ever got to jump over a log or you got to jump off the bike for a collision, you can't do it with forward pegs. I don't mind having some pegs up here to rest your feet on, but I'm really against that for safety. I'd rather have it down here. You can get up on your toes and stand up on the bike straight up, stretch your legs out, stretch your ass out for long rides. So I'm going to convert this back, and there is some conversion kits out there, but about 150 US. Look, there's oil in there, so this is chain drive. So this one is chain drive. And I see, because sure the early evolutions were belt drive. I'm sure they made some belt drives for the first year. I wish I could find more about it. It's like with anything new, the first year ones are always like the kind of the experimental. Let's try it out and see what happens. It's pretty dirty, so we're going to change this anyways. And so it might have been the 84s were a double belt drive, where they went back to the chain drive. But I know that it was quieter. It was nice and quiet, but there was a lot of issues with it. One of the mechanics at the shop I worked at, he had one. I think he had a early 80s, may have been 81 or 82, wide glide, big fat 5-gallon tanks, and I'm pretty sure it was a wide glide, Ted's bike. And he had the belt drive, and he was constantly taking it off and trying to get it aligned right. And that one's pretty dirty, so we're going to change that. But I did find some articles on this bike, and the early FXs, the 84s and 85s, were some of the best riding Harleys ever. They have a real rigid square back frame here, a really heavy duty beefed up frame, and which made for a real stable bike, and no wobble on the highway, and really nice handling bike. So I can't wait to get it on the road. My chain's pretty loose in there. I would say there's a 1/2 inch flop in there, but you should turn the wheel and try to get it to the tightest point. I've been looking at this bike a little bit closer inspection. I see a little orange RTV on the crankcases, so I know this engine's been apart, and I could see a little bit under one of the valve covers, little orange RTV silicone. So I know this bike's been all apart. So the engine has been apart. Somebody's put the speedo drive on the left-hand side of the bike here instead of the right-hand side of the bike, and what that does is it reverses the kilometers on the speedometer. And right now it's saying like 400 kilometers on it. So, but the guy asked the original owner. He figured there was 25,000 kilometers on the bike, around 30,000 kilometers. But when he took the wheel off, he put it on backwards, and so it's been going in reverse. But I'm gonna run this bike. I'm gonna try it out, do a compression check, oil pressure check, everything. If it runs good, I'm gonna leave it. and then if until it needs some work, then I'll pull it apart. I got the spare engine. I'm going to rebuild that, maybe modify it a little bit, and have a spare engine to pop in it. Okay, that's it for this video. My seat pan is, I haven't got back to it the other night. I just got home. I'm just cooking supper now. Yeah, I got to get my buddy's stapler and see if, I got to beef this up here at the front and back. I still got to do that. Been working all day and night here. Okay, that's it for this video. I'm gonna get this Norton going here. I know everybody's waiting to get the Norton going. I got everything for it. There's no reason not to get this going, except I need one day. I need one good day here to really wrap this up and fire it up. And I want to fire this bike up in the next week and do a video on it. And all together, I just got to really focus on the wiring and be mentally set to do that, because it's a really big squeeze to get that new headlight in there and the gauges in. It's going to be tricky, but one day I could have that thing running, probably 4 or 5 hours solid. I could have that bike drivable. Anyways, that's it for tonight.